We're gonna go murder over there. Homicide Hollow. Went over and checked it last night, and they were hitting that calf after about a day. And if they're hitting it after a day, we've got some aggressive coyotes there. When we walked in there and looked at it, there was tracks all over the place. We can go hammer. Hopefully 2, 3, 4. Do a countdown. Hammer about 3 or 4. Two, maybe for sure.
South Dakota, a modern-day no man's land. Population, way less than Texas. It's a place where at night, a coyote is free to come and go as he pleases, to and from farm to farm, just looking for his next meal. And with no one in sight, can live out his life in blissful, sweet harmony with nature. After all, there's nothing to fear, 'cause no one's here, and life is good to be a coyote. Or is it? I guess that would all depend on what farm he's on at the time. There is a place somewhere in South Dakota no coyote ever wants to find himself. It's a place where many ate their last meal, and without warning met their maker just a little early. And some found their final resting place. This is one place a coyote's sins are measured, and the scales of life and death are balanced by the quality of fur. There's no other place quite like it I've ever seen, anywhere. And to sum it up in 3 words, for a coyote, this is the perfect storm. Talk about a coyote's worst nightmare. Once they make it to the bales and a coyote's on the bait, there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. It's pretty much game over. Even the ones that try to use the bales themselves for cover aren't safe.
God, dude. Splattered all over the bale.
I had a special guest with me on this trip to South Dakota, good friend and ultimate night vision owner, Tyler Adair.
I think you're really gonna like this rover, James.
I've been wanting to get that.
Yeah, it's a whole other way you can use thermal.
This was Tyler's first chance to meet James and Keith in person, and thought it would be a good chance to introduce them to Rover. They had never met face to face, but honestly, you couldn't really tell it once they started talking about killing.
Thermal pan tilt right on top of the truck. So you can use that without getting out of the truck. I noticed you kind of, whenever you have somewhere to spot, you kind of turn the truck sideways so you can roll the window down and look out the window. But it's pretty cool. So you just, there's only, 2 buttons and a thumbstick, and it does everything. Pretty self-explanatory. Left, right, up, down. This button changes the color. This button does your zoom. And there's some other real simple settings in there. But this little indicator there tells you where you're looking.
That red.
Yeah, the little red truck. That's us.
This will be such a slick setup, man. This is so many tools for this, so many applications for this tool.
Absolutely. I mean, this is just another dimension to thermal. A lot of guys start with a monocular, and then they'll go to a weapon sight, and then they'll get to a helmet mounted. But this is a dimension of thermal that is extremely useful. I mean, it's worth every penny. It's the value that you get with the unit on top of the truck. I think you're going to be amazed, especially being a rancher. You could find your cows whenever it's 20 below outside.
That'll be 100% functional, not just for hunting, but for checking cows, like you said. That'll be like almost a game changer for us.
Absolutely.
Not having to roll the window down to spotlight, just being able to drive in pitch black and see what's out there. I mean, with the spotlight, everybody is so in tune with spotlighting at night for spotlighting their cows. That's just what they do. You're only focused on one area. With this one, look at the field of view you got. You can see multiple cows on the screen, whereas with your spotlight, you're basically focusing on one spot. In certain conditions, this thing would pay for itself real quick. I
think it's going to work perfectly for the kill box. I mean, that's a definitely very specific scenario, but the way you have it set up, where you can cruise in there and just sit in the truck and see the kill box from several hundred yards away.
We're going to smash probably at least a quad. We're not coming home with anything less than a quad. Homicide Hollow, that's where we're gonna go murder. Tyler came up with it.
You brought that all the way from Texas.
The whiteboard, dude. Code names, a little brainstorming.
Dude, I plan on laying a lot of hate, so.
I got 5 rounds.
That's not enough.
It will be. For me. I think we should go back over to
the kill box?
Code name, Homicide Hollow tonight. Went over and checked it last night, and they were hitting that calf after about a day. And if they're hitting it after a day, we've got some aggressive coyotes there. I think we should be able to do pretty good. When we walked in there and looked at it, there was tracks all over the place. We can go hammer. Hopefully 2, 3, 4. Maybe we can all prone out, do a countdown, hammer about 3 or 4. 2, maybe for sure.
What's the wind chill tonight?
About 10 below. Yeah.
Not bad. You'll be all right?
You'll be good.
We'll be good.
You've had 2 days to acclimate.
Yep. I already got frostbite in my left hand, so that one can't get any worse.
At least your trigger finger's still good.
I'll just shoot left-handed and I'll be good to go.
Okay.
So I got frostbite.
Well, your trigger finger, you got to have your trigger finger, bud.
I've kept that one warm specifically so I could shoot.
So that's what we're gonna do. If there's only one on it, we'll decide from there. But if there's multiples, we'll prone out.
Set up an assassination station.
Bro, he's beating you guys all to pieces, man.
He's just
he's like,
Hey,
look
at his code name list, dude.
I know.
We're gonna have to erase some of the whiteboard.
The slang slew.
The Terror Trench. There's this trench that runs down there.
I didn't even see that.
He's got them remembered. Let's go, dude.
See, if you lived up here with us, dude, there would probably be no coyotes alive. Just like if we were down there with you, all the pigs would be extinct.
Yeah.
Anthony wouldn't have nothing to do. Let's do it. Let's jump in the Raptor and hammer down.
One thing I've noticed over the past several years of hunting with these guys is each year their setup gets better and better. The fact these guys kill 150 to 200 coyotes a year is no accident. They'll usually let one guy go in solo first, just to scope things out and get a handle on the situation. Then wave everybody over instead of multiple guys tromping in there all at once. These guys are very methodical about being quiet and getting in there undetected. They even know the best section of fence to cross and have 2 guys holding it down for the guy going over to prevent any unneeded cracking and popping of barbed wire. These are the types of things that guys that are good at killing coyotes do because they've actually learned from their mistakes in the past. Once they get past the fence, it's about a 50-yard stretch to the bales, and the most critical part of the whole deal, because the bait and the coyotes on it are only about 50 yards on the other side. So staying quiet is critical. Luckily on this night, we had a soft layer of fresh snow on the ground to soften everyone's footsteps. Once there, they'll always have a single lead guy peek up over the stack just to assess where each coyote is at the time and how many there are before everyone comes up to get in position. This minimizes the risk of having coyotes pick up on any head movement, because from their vantage point, it's much harder to see one head peeking over the bales than 4 moving around all at once. And once he's determined the situation, they'll get a game plan together from there. You know, having multiple guns in a situation like this is an advantage, because when you have the right setup and can control when you shoot, it's advantageous for killing multiple coyotes all at once, rather than just one standing still on the first shot and the rest while they're running to get out. Once the plan is made, the lead guy who's looking over the bales will serve as a lookout, watching for the best times coyotes are not looking their direction to signal the rest of the group to come up one at a time. In a nutshell, it's basically sneaking a gun up top and into position when they're all preoccupied and not paying attention. That's pretty dang smart if you think about it. And once they all have the best shot, it then becomes a countdown of 1, 2,
Straight out, John.
If there's such a thing as killing by design, these guys have perfected it. One thing I love about this game is there's always something to learn. No matter how much you think you know, there's always someone out there that can teach you something. And just paying attention to details when someone's nice enough to let you in on their process, that's how you get better. If there's any one thing I've learned from O'Neill Ops, it's the setup is the key. Sure, you can dump a bait pile just about anywhere, but you have to have a way to get close enough to them undetected to kill them. These guys have thought about everything for just about every wind direction. In fact, there's only one wind direction they really can't hunt the kill box effectively. And guess what? That wind direction is the least common wind direction for their area. Do you think that's an accident? This setup is perfect and allows them to get where they need to be to pull the trigger. And when there's just one on it, if they make it to the bales, odds are that coyote's eating his last meal. But what happens when there's 8? Let's just watch and see. They never could get all 8 in the frame at once, but I counted 7 a time or two. The only thing wrong with this situation is the fact that I wasn't there when this happened. It's not very often that you have this many coyotes together in such a small area. But when you hunt as often as they do, something like this was eventually bound to happen.
ass. Don't shoot him in the ass. It'll wreck him. Just wait for one. Hold on. I got one over here, dude. Hey, that one right there to the left, Keith. Right there. Do it. Right there. Nice work. We just smashed 4, dude. We just smashed 4. Holy smokes, bro. Pound that shit right now. There was 8 of them here, and we did 4 for 4. 4 for 4. Dude, that's probably the most amazing. That's the most amazing stuff I've seen. Wasn't it? I'm stopping.
Since these guys have had so much success with the kill box, they've branched out with new setups that are already proving to be good locations. Who knows, maybe next year there'll be a kill box number 2, 3, and 4. If so, I feel sorry for every coyote within 100 miles of that place. Well, it appears a South Dakota coyote does have something to worry about after all. If he wanders his way onto the wrong farm and partakes of the forbidden fruit, he might just wind up being some guy's hat, or even worse, like this guy. The kill box is the trap of all traps, designed, built, and perfected by a group of hardcore night hunters with one purpose: kill coyotes. I would even venture to say the odds are pretty good that no other single location has yielded as many coyote kills in the entire state, or country for that matter. It's just a place with lots of numbers and guys who know how to kill them. It's a revolving door of death. Once one leaves, another one moves in right behind him to take his place.